To find the equation of this ellipse, the first thing that we need to do is to figure out if we're dealing with a horizontal or vertical ellipse. Notice that we have here a change to the x. So because x is changing, we know that we're dealing with a horizontal ellipse. So let's see how we can use the vertex. First, remember that the center is at 0, 0. So the other thing that we notice is the vertex is basically 4, 0. So what that means is if we went from the center to the vertex, remember we're using the letter A to represent that we're going from the center to the vertex. So from the center to the vertex, from 0, 0 to 4, 0, how much did it change by? It changed by 4. So that means that our A value is going to be 4. So A is equal to 4. What does that mean about our A squared? Well, what we know is that if A is 4, and we need A squared for our equation, then A squared is 4 times 4, so A squared is going to be 16. So now let's get the focus. So the first thing that we'll notice here again is that the focus is at 2, 0. And we're going to compare that to the center. Remember, the center we stated was at 0, 0. So we're going from 0, 0 to the point 2, 0, basically, to get our focus. When we go from the center to the focus, we're using the letter C. And in this case, basically, how much did it change by? Well, it changed by 2. So what does that mean about our C? Well, C is equal to 2. And we need C squared for a calculation. C squared is going to end up being 4. So let's use that C value. Remember that we're dealing with an ellipse. And ellipses have a special equation that relates the C, the A, and the B. It looks familiar, but it's slightly different. So this time we're going to use the equation C squared equals A squared minus B squared. C squared was 4, so we're going to put in 4 for our C squared. A squared is 16, so we're going to put in 16 there. And B squared we don't know, but we'll need to find it out to get our equation. So we're going to subtract 16 from both sides to get the B squared by itself. 16 cancels out, and we're left with negative B squared on the left side. On the right side. Then we have 4 minus 16, which gives us negative 12. We're going to divide both sides by negative 1, again, just so we can get B squared by itself. And on the right side, when we divide that, we end up with a positive B squared. And on the left side, we end up with a positive 12. So B squared is 12. Remember that a critical part of writing our equation, which is what we're going to do now, is knowing that the center is important, and we're using H and K to represent the center. For our original equation, we had this x minus h squared and this y minus k squared as well. The denominators we had were our a squared and b squared. We just found out what those values are. And this is horizontal. This is a horizontal ellipse. So the larger value, our a squared, is going to go under the x because x is horizontal. The smaller value, our b squared, that's going to go under the y part of it. So we're mostly done. We just need to figure out what to do with this h and k. Remember that h and k are 0 and 0. Remember, that's our center. So let's go ahead and substitute those zeros in for the h and the k. When we do that, we have this x minus 0 squared and this y minus 0 squared. Remember that when we subtract 0 from anything, it stays the same. So x minus 0 is basically just x. And y minus 0 is basically just y. So when we rewrite everything, our final equation is what we have here.